Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Live Chat here on ProPix TV with your host, James Kuzno. Welcome back to the show. We are going to fix the background first of all. And tonight we are looking at some top news stories around the world. And of course, we are going to start looking at the thoughts and prayers that we see coming out online. Everybody's wishing thoughts and prayers for the victims of the Colorado school shooting. Meanwhile, others are sending thoughts and prayers to the family of Charlie Kirk, a U.S. Mouthpiece for MAGA and Donald Trump that was shot today. Now, regardless of your politics or your agreement or disagreement with Charlie Kirk, who I personally disagreed with on many of his topics, but I also agree with the right for him to be able to speak out and speak whatever he believes and whatever he thinks is ethically correct in his compass, his moral compass, without the threat of violence. So it is a terrible loss that anybody loses their life for speaking out their opinions and their thoughts and their views. Whether I agree with them or not, I respect his right to do that. And to see his life taken as a result is just a sad day for any country that says they adhere to the rule of law and that it's a democratic society. And so, again, very sad to see that he passed away from the bullet wound suffered at his event in Utah. However, with that also stated, it bothers me that I see already on the Give Send Go app, there is a fundraiser for his family that in the first hours of the fundraiser being launched has raised over $108,000 of a $1 million fundraising target. My question is actually, I have several. First of all, why is there money being raised for a multi-millionaire and going towards his family that undoubtedly will benefit from, and I hate to say benefit from, because it sounds cold and callous, but it's just the facts that he, I'm sure, had a life insurance policy that'll pay out to his family. The fact that he was a multi-millionaire with real estate holdings and other assets. And yet here we are looking at more children that have been injured and one killed as a result of a school shooter. We don't see a lot of money being contributed to the enhancement of school safety programs. And for one, I'll even bring up what we do here at ProPix TV. We have the ProPix Canada Fund for Good that actually reaches out globally to help organizations in need and individuals. A part of that is our youth violence prevention and intervention awareness and education program, where you see this book in front of me. We send that out to schools and community groups, law enforcement, and so forth around the world at no charge in order to try to teach people about warning signs, indicators, and other ways to get involved with youth violence prevention, intervention, and awareness. And yeah, so we do that. We bring in for our annual donations less than $100 of our online contributions. So again, and yet a multimillionaire raises hundreds of thousands of dollars when he's already got the millions. So again, it just shows the disparity of priorities within the system. I'm not saying necessarily that you should be running out to donate to the ProPix Media Fund for Good. What I am saying is that you should be looking at how you can make your donations work. For example, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada, and other organizations that provide alternatives to students and to youth to not be involved in violence or in criminality and other issues that, instead they are filling their time with positive programs that help them to gain insight to their own personal interests and to be filling time with positive influence. So again, just different things to consider in that regard. Now, we'll take a look at some of the current updates here. Let's first take a look at the Give Send Go. Let's just bring that up. One moment, folks, and I will bring that up on the screen, and we'll see where it's at this time. And again, just to show how off balance it is, that within 12 hours, we'll say, where are we at, or not we, but where are they at in this fundraising scheme? Right now, it's $130,000, 179. So that's how much they have so far raised for the family of a multimillionaire. Yes, he was shot. He's a victim of violence, and at no point should anybody ever suffer at the hands of violence for speaking their mind, whether we agree with it or not. Now, it says that 100% of the proceeds will be given directly to his wife and children, paid out directly from the Give, Send, Go platform. This comes from the Liberty Memes Foundation. So let's take a look at who they are. And I brought it up earlier, and, there are terms that I question whether or not, whether or not they are legitimate in terms of donating all of the funds that are raised. As you can see here on the screen in front of you, there are a lot of different sorry, I'll just bring that back up. There are a lot of different charitable contributions that they are working towards, and that is very very respected by myself to help others in need. But again, I question the legitimacy of this fundraiser, as there are many already that have popped up for Charlie Kirk and his family. And this one fundraiser alone, as I said, has already raised over $130,000. And that to me is, money that could be better spent providing education and resources to prevent violence or to reduce violence in our communities, including what led to his death. I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, there is no room in society for politically motivated violence or any other violence, whether that's here in Canada, whether that's in the United States, whether it's in the UK or Australia or Pakistan or India or Russia. There is no place for this. But what really bothers me on top of this is not just the fact that they have raised over $130,000 for this millionaire already, but also that the flags are being lowered to half-mast for until Sunday, and that's on order of the President of the United States. Should we not be instead honoring the many lives lost to gun violence throughout the United States every year, throughout North America, or even around the world? Should we not be looking at lowering the flag to all of the victims of war that have died in the last year? And we could go back even several years. The innocent lives that are lost in Ukraine, in Palestine, in Israel. I mean, I'm looking at it from the innocent lives that are being lost and taken, including that of Russian soldiers who are just doing what they're ordered to do at the behest of their government. I'm not looking at it from a political standpoint or making an opinion either way on these wars. But all I'm saying is that innocent lives are being lost every single day. And the one that Donald Trump decides to lower the flag for is someone who is speaking divisive and racially racist comments and misogynistic comments and everything else. And to each his own. He has the right to speak whatever he believed. But at the same time, is this someone that should be getting the national flag of the United States of America? Should he be the one that is causing or being honored with the flag lowering? I don't think so. I think that the children in Colorado who were victimized by a shooting today or yesterday now should be honored first. I think that victims of other shootings and mass acts of violence should be honored first. I think that more needs to be done to raise awareness about warning signs and indicators of violence and those that are leading up to the perpetration of such acts. This is not only about the school shooters, but also the individual who shot Mr. Kirk as well. If we look at the warning signs and indicators, most of the time, almost 100% of the time, when we look at it from hindsight, we find that there are many stark warning signs that had people been aware of what they were looking at, they could have prevented these acts of violence, these shootings or mass stabbings. All of these events, the majority of them can be prevented. And instead, people decide that they don't want to take the time to learn about violence prevention and intervention, and that is a true shame. Now, If you, on that note, if you are interested in receiving a copy of this book here, Youth Violence and International Crisis, Fighting Violence by and Against Youth, it also covers a lot of topics and warning signs and indicators that would be applicable to those looking to act out in acts of mass violence, whether it's in schools or communities, or even targeting individuals such as Charlie Kirk. This book, we can send you an e-copy absolutely free. So just message us or email smile@propixcanada.com. That's PROPICS Canada.com. Send us an email if you want an e-version copy of this book. We're happy to send it to you free of charge. There's no catch. You're not added to a mailing list or anything like that. It's just because we are trying to do our part to educate on violence prevention and intervention. We are not here to preach gun laws and safety, although we do have opinions on that we do share from time to time. But that's not what this is about. This is about understanding the warning signs, indicators, and how to intervene to prevent acts of violence. Again, if you would like a free copy, let us know. We're happy to send it out to you. Once more, this book has been used in schools, universities, and other institutions worldwide. It has helped to literally prevent school shootings, to identify potential risks, and to actually intervene before school shootings have happened. So again, the work in this book and the information is very valuable, and it is proven to help to identify and intervene before mass acts of violence are perpetrated. So again, we're happy to send a copy of this out to anybody that's interested. Now, as I said, we are looking at the various, the various sides of all acts of violence. And again, it is sad that anybody is, acting out in frustration, anger, hatred, bigotry, or any other reason. And let's take a look here at the ABC report on the school shooting on the other side. So again, first we looked at the Charlie Kirk. Now let's again look at the school violence incident. Now, if you watch and follow through on the investigation over time, as it's still very early in the stages of investigation right now, this is the report from ABC News. Now, of course, it says that 2 other students are in critical condition after the shooting. Different news agencies have brought up different reports. Let's maximize this screen for a moment. And again, all 3 patients are in critical condition and being transported to St. Anthony Hospital. And that was a spokesperson from the hospital speaking to ABC News. Now you can see the size of the campus and you can see the police response on the ground. And again, it is a sad day when another school is shot up and the victims are young students. It's something that we need to get control of and we need to prevent. And again, through education and awareness, that can happen. Once again, if you're interested in the book, you can reach out to us through the website at propixcanada.com. Email us, smile, S-M-I-L-E, at propixcanada.com if you would like a free ebook copy of this. And we're happy to send it out to you. Again, it's part of our program that we have to use media to raise awareness, education, and to prevent acts of school shootings such as the one at Evergreen High School today. So again, just a tragic incident that happened, and not enough is being done to prevent these school shootings. Now, of course, once again, we see everybody sending their thoughts and their prayers to the family of Charlie Kirk. We see people sending out their thoughts and their prayers to the students of the school and other acts of violence throughout the world. Again, thoughts and prayers are not working. They just aren't. It's time to look at not only the causes and the ways to intervene from a law enforcement strategy, but also through mental health strategies and other resources to help not only those who are suffering from mental health issues and those who are contemplating self-harm or harm against others, but also to educate families, teachers, law enforcement, and others in deeper levels as to watching for the warning signs. Now, that, of course, is only one of the steps that you take. Of course, when you are talking about a loved one, a lot of times you don't want to recognize those signs as being a very dark place. And unfortunately, when we fail to recognize and admit that somebody needs help, then that is when we usually are looking back on it in hindsight saying, if only I did this, if only I did that. And unfortunately, it is a very sad place to be when you are looking back and trying to think about what you could have done to prevent it instead of actually taking steps to educate yourself with the knowledge to use that ahead of time. So again, yeah, you can get a copy of this book, Youth Violence in International Crisis, absolutely free. Just let us know. We'll send you a copy. Absolutely. Other than that, folks, we are also looking at other headlines, and there was a story out of Washington today. I'm just going to see if I can bring that up, which was actually a good news story in many ways. So bear with me a moment. Let's see if I can bring that up here. There we go. So, in Washington state today, a teenager was arrested with an arsenal of weapons. And it is understood that, or believed, that he was ready to take action of a mass shooting. It's a 13-year-old, folks. And that is a scary thought. Now, this article that we're going to take a peek at is from CNN and what they were reporting on the incident. But again, it shows the power of awareness and speaking out and how this prevented a mass violent attack today. And that is great news. I don't know if we can get rid of some of this ad space on the screen here because it is CNN and it's a horrible yeah, the ads are just horrible on here. But in any event, yeah, 13 weapons, 23 firearms, along with ammunition when they arrested a 13-year-old boy who allegedly had school shooter ideations. This again was in Washington state, and my apologies, it was actually last week. So again, when the police arrested the 13-year-old boy last week, accused of making threats to kill, they found he had everything ready to go and commit a mass shooting, including a trove of more than 20 guns in his home. He was arrested after the Pierce County Sheriff's Office received information Friday from an internal watch group that reports threatening online posts. Deputy Carly Capetto told CNN. After reviewing the suspect's social media posts, it was warranted to immediately move forward with an arrest, Capetto said. Authorities believe the boy had school shooter ideations. When a SWAT team descended on the boy's home, located in a suburban area of Parkland, Washington, around 1 a.m. Saturday, they found a collection of 23 firearms, several boxes of ammunition, loaded magazines with school shooter writings on them, as well as clothing and writings typical to a mass shooting scenario. The arrest comes as students around the United States settle into a new school year and the persistent threat of gun violence that comes with it. Last month, 2 young children were killed and more than a dozen people were wounded in a shooting during a mass marking the first week of classes at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. And we spoke about that last week. And it's just a wave of active shooter hoaxes that are also, really a big concern. And that was at more than a dozen universities, and that strained law enforcement. And again, those were hoaxes, but they cannot afford to not act on them. They must act on every threat and really investigate to ensure that students are safe. And when threats are uncovered, that they act upon them. What's even scarier is that the investigators found that the boy's bedroom is where they located some weapons that they believe were 3D printed. He also had, imitated similar behaviors with photos and inscriptions spread throughout his room with his obsession of previous school shooters. Now it says the sheriff's office said that it is unknown who or what the intended target was going to be, but it's clear it was a matter of time before a tragic incident occurred. Again, really, when you look at this, people recognized the warning signs and they spoke out. So again, just massive, massive kudos to all of the individuals who were involved in preventing this mass attack in Washington state. Also, a big shout out to the Pierce County Sheriff's Department for doing their job and taking it seriously and acting promptly that prevented this tragedy from transpiring. Also to the online groups that were involved in monitoring and bringing concerns to the sheriff's department about the potential of this individual. And again, as you can see by the volume of weapons and ammunition that were apprehended or taken from this individual's home, it shows that it very well could have been a very serious tragic incident. So again, kudos to the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, to the school, to everyone else involved in preventing that massive shooting. If you would like to call into the show, the phone lines are open, and I'm just going to click on our WhatsApp to make sure that it is active as well. If you want to call in and speak about any of these topics, or just call in and say hello, you're welcome to do that as well. Our WhatsApp number is 1-368-997-6741, and it also applies to the phone lines. So if you want to call in, you're welcome to do so as well. I've set that up so I can see it. And again, if you want to call in, you can call in live at 1-368-997-6741 or use the chat option. All of the chat rooms on the various platforms should come through to our main feed here, and I can respond to those accordingly. Once again, kudos to Pierce County sheriffs and all of those involved in preventing the mass shooting in Washington state. As we move on there, folks, there are many warning signs and indicators that you can be made aware of. Once again, although this book is Youth Violence and International Crisis, it gives a lot of indicators and warning signs about mass shooters in terms of warning signs, indicators, intervention, and other information that is essential. This book is a bit older, so it's got a bit older of references, but still very, very practical in terms of the details and the information today. And you can also, if you want, let us know if you're interested, but there is an updated version of the book coming soon. We'll definitely let you know when that is available. But again, it's important to equip yourself with the knowledge in order to prevent school shootings. We also understand that there are many people out there who are unable to read, and that for that purpose, we will be providing an ebook version of this as well. We'll have that coming soon. Again, it will also be free of charge for anybody interested, as our goal is to help prevent acts of violence, whether that is political violence, whether that is school violence, community violence, or such. As we address on that, though, folks, we'll move on to some news headlines. And again, on the topic of massive acts of violence, the Lapu Lapu Day attacker in Canada has been ruled fit to stand trial by the judge. A judge had heard motions, and the individual had been under psychiatric evaluation and pretrial determination whether or not he was fit to stand trial due to mental incapacity or other concerns. At this time, once again, the judge has ruled that the individual who perpetrated the Lapu Lapu Day event attack in Vancouver, British Columbia last year will stand trial. So that is good news for the many victims and the community of the victim that he did. Now, Lapu Lapu, for those who don't know, was a Filipino hero or leader. And I don't know a great deal about Lapu Lapu, but I know that it was a chief of the Mactan, an island now part of the Philippines. And let's pull up some more information so this way we can learn together. Now, apparently, Lapu Lapu is known for the 1521 Battle of Mactan, where he and his men defeated Spanish forces led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. and his native allies Raja Hamabang and Datu Zula. Magellan's death in battle ended his voyage of circumnavigation and delayed the Spanish occupation of the islands by over 40 years until the expedition of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, which reached the archipelago in 1565. So again, modern Philippine society regards him as the first Filipino hero because of his resistance to Spanish colonization. Monuments of Lapu-Lapu have been built all over the Philippines to honor Lapu-Lapu's bravery against the Spaniards. The Philippine National Police and the Bureau of Fire Protection use his image as part of their official seals. So there you go. Now we know more about Lapu-Lapu. But again, the news that we are referring to in this particular situation is that the Lapu-Lapu Festival attack suspect is fit to stand trial. Now, the individual, Kai G. Adam Lowe, is accused of driving an SUV through a crowd of people at the street festival on April the 26th of 2025. We reported live from the scene at the time, and it is a sad, sad situation that this catastrophe didn't get stopped beforehand. Once again, there were warning signs and indicators that had people have known what they were looking for, that it could have been prevented. However, he faces 11 counts of second-degree murder in the attack, and on Wednesday morning, he was charged with an additional 31 counts of attempted murder. And in terms of the statement by Steve Rye, who is the chief constable with the Vancouver Police Department, he stated that this is another step towards answers and accountability in one of the most horrific incidents our city has ever faced, and I extend my deepest condolences to everyone impacted by the Lapu-Lapu Festival attack. So once again, the judge has stated that he is more than capable of standing trial for the murders that took place at that Lapu-Lapu Day Festival. In regards to the judge's decision, it was after he heard from two forensic psychiatrists at the proceedings, and a publication ban has prevented evidence at the hearing from being reported. But I know that Global News is a part of a media consortium to challenge the ban on that information, trying to get more details as to what was behind the attack. Now, under the Criminal Code of Canada, unfit to stand trial is defined as an accused person having a mental disorder that leaves them unable to conduct a defense or to instruct counsel to do so. The court received reports on Lowe from two psychiatrists, one on behalf of the Crown and one on behalf of his own defense. And again, they have decided, or at least the judge has decided, that yes, he is able to stand trial. Now, as we continue on looking at other news, of course, we've talked about many different things, and we need to look here at a Richmond Hill daycare incident that happened. Unfortunately, very sad. Richmond Hill, Ontario. An 18-month-old boy was killed in that community. 7 other children were injured after a car crashed into a Richmond Hill daycare. And again, the 18-month-old boy was killed. 7 others were injured when the car crashed right into the daycare in Richmond Hill on Wednesday. York Regional Police also stated that 3 adults were injured in that incident. Now, of course, we are waiting for more information to come out on this as details emerge. But again, a sad day when children are not even safe in their daycare. It's at this time, of course, we know that it happened on Wednesday. The car drove through the window of the building near Yonge Street and Nottingham Drive around 3 p.m. And that was the result of those injuries, or resulted in those injuries. Of course, we know that the center was open at the time with numerous employees and children inside. And of course, now we will wait and see what we find out about the driver and what happened that led to this situation. It is a tragic incident, but again, the police are clearly stating that the information at this time has led them to determine that it was not a deliberate act. The vehicle was in the parking lot at the time and, for reasons unknown, drove through the front of the window. We can appreciate that this is very alarming for all parents to receive such a call. Now, it is also stated that everybody was accounted for. Unfortunately, some of those injured and one toddler deceased. But again, they are stating that it was not believed to be an intentional attack. So very important to reiterate on that subject and that fact as well. Now, as we continue on, this weekend in Toronto, there is a planned protest or rally, depending on how you look at it. And they are calling it Canada First, I believe, is the name of the rally. And they are essentially looking at protesting immigration and other concerns that they have in the community and across the nation. This is being framed in the same context as a recent event in Australia, and that did go out. That did go on, but apparently there were also a lot of clashes because there were some groups that tried to take advantage of the gathering in order to incite violence, incite hate, incite anger, incite mistrust between different community groups and diasporas. Now, there were allegedly some people that were members of the white supremacy groups and others that attended the event in Australia. And again, there is concern about certain individuals of that mindset also attending the event in Toronto. So that is concerning. That's set to happen September the 13th. Happens to be my birthday, actually. So if you want to get me a gift and you're in Toronto, just stay away from it and try to make sure that peace is maintained if you do find yourself in the area. But again, very concerning about some of the rhetoric that's going out on social media from people planning to attend the event. So again, that is the Canada First rally that'll take place in Toronto this weekend. Very similar event is being planned in London on the same day. So again, very interested to watch these events unfold. And we hope that people will remain calm, remain peaceful, and really just share their expression and their right to speech. And their right to express their freedom, the right to freedom of expression in all of these events. So again, keep it peaceful, folks. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. It's a shorter version of live chat with James tonight here on ProPix TV, but we hope you enjoyed it. Again, leave your comments down below. Leave your thoughts and opinions. We always like that, but also if there's any topics that you would like us to see on the program or subjects that you would like us to investigate. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, coming up October the 1st will be the launch of a new series on truecrimeandjusticetv.com. The series will look at cold case files from across Canada from the last several decades, going back right to the 1950s. We will be exploring different cold case files and bringing you information, hoping that maybe new leads can be shaken out of the minds of those who have put them behind. Hopefully people can remember even the most insignificant facts if they can bring them forward. Maybe it'll trigger something else or weave some type of connection together with other clues that the police or tips that the police have received and be able to bring to fruition the closure of some of these cold case files. And again, that starts October the 1st on truecrimeandjusticetv.com. And we will keep you apprised of that as it gets closer to the date. Coming up this Thursday night on Primetime Live on Jess FM and Jess TV, we will be exploring your phone calls, your comments, and of course, we'll be talking about various different news topics from Lethbridge and across Canada and around the world. So again, we'll be popping up on stations everywhere, as well as, of course, the regular 4 nights a week on Savage TV. So again, you can find live on various platforms throughout the week, and you can call in and have your say. Once again, you've been watching Live Chat with James here on ProPix TV. The call line, if you wish to call in and leave a voicemail for the program or call in during the live version of the program, you can do that either on WhatsApp or on regular telephone lines. And it is one, area code 368 997 6741. Take care, everyone. Stay safe out there.